Hey there, I'm George, and this is my amazing daughter Mia. On our channel, we chat about all sorts of things, stories, life lessons, and even some cool facts you might not know. It's our little corner of the internet to share, learn, and laugh together. So, if that sounds like fun, hit subscribe and join us. Alright, Mia, let's dive into a fun story about a company you might have heard of, Apple. Not the kind you eat, but the one that makes all those cool gadgets like iPhones and iPads. Once upon a time, in a small garage in California, there were two young men named Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. They were best friends who loved computers. They decided to build their own computer, which they called the Apple One. Can you imagine that? Building a computer in your garage.
Wow, that's amazing. So, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak built the Apple One in their garage? What did it look like? Was it very different from the computers we use today?
Yes, Mia, it's pretty amazing. The Apple One was quite different from the computers we use today. Imagine a big wooden box with a lot of wires and circuit boards inside. It didn't even have a case, just a wooden frame with the electronic parts exposed. It looked more like a science project than a sleek gadget. Back then, computers weren't like the ones we have now. They were huge, heavy, and took up a lot of space. The Apple One was actually pretty simple by today's standards. But it was revolutionary because it was one of the first computers that ordinary people could use and afford.
That sounds really cool. So, the Apple One was kind of like an old science project with wires everywhere. How did people react when they first saw it? Did a lot of people start using it?
Exactly, Mia. The Apple One did look like an old science project. When people first saw it, they were pretty amazed. It was quite a breakthrough because it was one of the first personal computers that people could actually use at home. At first, it was mostly tech enthusiasts and hobbyists who bought the Apple One. They were excited about having their own computer and exploring what it could do. The Apple One wasn't a big commercial success, but it laid the groundwork for something even bigger.
So, the Apple One was kind of like a special toy for tech lovers, but not everyone had one. What happened next? Did Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak make another computer that was even better?
Yes, that's right. The Apple One was like a special toy for tech enthusiasts. After their initial success with the Apple One, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak realized they could build something even better. So, they went on to create the Apple II. The Apple II was a major improvement. It was more user-friendly and had a sleek plastic case. It also had color graphics, which was pretty exciting at the time. This computer was a huge hit and became very popular because it was more practical for everyday use.
That sounds awesome. The Apple II must have been a big deal with its color graphics and fancy case. How did people react to it? Did it help Apple become really successful?
Absolutely, Mia. The Apple II was a game changer. People were thrilled about the color graphics and the user-friendly design. It made computing accessible to more people, including schools and businesses. The success of the Apple II helped Apple become a major player in the tech industry. It brought in a lot of revenue and made Apple a well-known name. This success allowed Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak to continue innovating and growing the company.
That's so exciting. So, the Apple II really helped Apple grow and become famous. What happened after that? Did Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak come up with more new ideas?
Yes, after the success of the Apple II, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak continued to innovate and come up with new ideas. One of their next big ideas was the Macintosh, which they introduced in 1984. The Macintosh was revolutionary because it was one of the first computers to use a graphical user interface, which means you could interact with it using icons and a mouse instead of typing commands. It also had a cool design with a small screen and a friendly interface.
The Macintosh sounds amazing. So, with the Macintosh, people could use pictures and a mouse instead of typing all the time. That must have made using a computer a lot easier. How did people respond to the Macintosh? Was it as popular as the Apple II?
Exactly, Mia. The Macintosh made using a computer much easier and more intuitive. When it was first introduced, people were really excited about the new way to interact with their computers. It was quite different from anything else available at the time. However, While the Macintosh was very innovative and had a lot of buzz, it didn't immediately become as popular as the Apple II. The Macintosh was a bit more expensive, and not everyone had the hardware to fully appreciate its capabilities. But over time, the Macintosh became very influential and paved the way for many of the user-friendly designs we see in computers today.
That's really interesting. Even though the Macintosh wasn't as popular at first, it still made a big impact on how computers are designed today. What happened next for Apple? Did they keep coming up with new ideas and products?
Yes, Apple definitely kept coming up with new ideas and products. After the Macintosh, Apple continued to innovate. One of their next major breakthroughs was the introduction of the iPod in 2001. The iPod was a portable music player that allowed people to carry thousands of songs in their pocket. It changed the way people listened to music and became incredibly popular. This success helped Apple grow even more and set the stage for future innovations.
The iPod sounds like it was a huge hit. Carrying thousands of songs in your pocket must have been amazing. How did the iPod change the way people listen to music?
Absolutely, Mia. The iPod really transformed the music experience. Before the iPod, people used CDs, tapes, and radios to listen to music. You had to carry around physical media, which could be bulky and limited in how much you could carry. With the iPod, people could store their entire music library in one small device. This meant they could easily access and organize their favorite songs, create playlists, and listen to music on the go. It also popularized the idea of downloading music from the internet, which eventually led to the rise of digital music stores like iTunes.
That's so cool. The iPod made listening to music so much easier and more fun, and the idea of downloading music from the internet is really neat.
I'm glad you think so, Mia. After the iPod, Apple introduced even more exciting products. For example, in 2007, they launched the iPhone, which combined a phone, music player, and internet device all in one. It was a game changer for how we use technology in our daily lives. The iPhone brought touchscreen technology into the mainstream and changed how people interact with their devices. It allowed people to access apps, browse the web, and even take high-quality photos, all from one device. This innovation had a huge impact on technology and communication.
The iPhone sounds incredible. Combining a phone, music player, and internet device into one must have been amazing. How did people react when the iPhone came out? Did it quickly become as popular as the iPod?
Yes, the iPhone was indeed incredible. When it first came out, people were amazed by its capabilities. The combination of a phone, music player, and internet device in one sleek package was revolutionary. The reaction was overwhelmingly positive, and it quickly became a huge success. The iPhone changed how people communicated, used the internet, and interacted with technology. Its popularity soared, and it became a cultural phenomenon just like the iPod before it. People were excited about the new possibilities it offered and how it made their lives easier.
That's really impressive. The iPhone made such a big impact on how we use technology.
It truly is impressive. The iPhone set the stage for so many of the technologies we use today, from apps and mobile internet to how we take and share photos. It really changed the game for how we interact with technology in our everyday lives. If you're interested, we could dive into how other tech companies have made similar impacts or explore more about Apple's journey and products. Just let me know.
It's amazing how one product can change so much. What are some of the most popular products that Apple introduced after the iPhone? Did they keep coming up with new innovations?
Totally. After the iPhone, Apple didn't slow down. They kept coming up with cool new stuff. First up was the iPad in 2010. Imagine a bigger screen than an iPhone, but still super portable. It was like a tablet that made reading, watching videos, and playing games even more fun. Then came the Apple Watch in 2015. This wasn't just a watch. It tracked your workouts, monitored your heart rate, and kept you connected with notifications, all while looking pretty stylish on your wrist. AirPods showed up in 2016, and they were game changers for wireless earbuds. No more tangled wires, just simple, high-quality sound that connects seamlessly with your Apple devices. In 2020, Apple dropped the M1 chip for Macs. This chip made Macs faster and more efficient, and it was a big deal because it showed Apple could create its own powerful hardware. And let's not forget the iPhone 12 and 13 series. They brought 5G for super-fast internet, improved cameras for awesome photos, and new designs that brought back the flat edges of the iPhone 4.
Wow, Apple really has been busy. The iPad, Apple Watch, AirPods, and M1 chip all sound like amazing innovations. How did people react to these new products? Did they become popular quickly like the iPhone and iPod?
Yeah, Apple has definitely been busy with all those innovations. When the iPad first came out, people were pretty excited about the idea of a large portable screen. It quickly became popular for reading, watching videos, and even as a tool for creative work. It wasn't as groundbreaking as the iPhone, but it carved out its own niche and became a big hit. The Apple Watch had a similar buzz when it launched. People were intrigued by the idea of a smartwatch that could do more than just tell time. It took a little while for it to become a must-have gadget, but now it's a pretty common accessory for many people, especially those into fitness and health tracking. AirPods were another big hit. They quickly became known for their convenience and sound quality. The fact that they were wireless and worked so seamlessly with Apple devices helped them catch on fast. They've become a staple for many people on the go. The M1 chip was a big deal in the tech world. It made Macs faster and more efficient, and people were really impressed with the performance boost. It was a bit more of a niche interest compared to consumer gadgets like the iPhone, but it was a significant step forward for Apple's computer lineup. So Mia, Apple's story is quite the adventure. They started in a little garage with the Apple I, and their journey has been filled with groundbreaking products. From the early days of the Apple II and Macintosh, to the iPod, iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch and AirPods, Apple has consistently pushed the boundaries of technology and changed the way we live and interact with our devices. Looking ahead, Apple continues to innovate with exciting new technologies and products. They're always working on the next big thing, whether it's in the world of computers, phones, or wearable tech. It's amazing to think about how far they've come and where they might go next.
Thank you so much for sharing all of this. It's incredible to see how Apple has evolved from a small garage project to a leader in technology. I've really enjoyed learning about their journey and innovations. Thanks again for the great story. Hey everyone, I'm Mia and welcome to our channel. My dad, George, and I love to chat, share fun stories, and dive into cool facts together. Whether you're here to learn something new or just hang out with us, we've got something for everyone. So hit that subscribe button and join the fun.